What's up, guys? Continuing on where we left off last week on the CD collection, we are still in the E section. This will almost wrap up the E's. So, first up, same band that we left on last time. This is Equilibrium with their 2014 release, Erdin Temple. This is epic folk metal. Very enjoyable stuff. Unfortunately, I only own this album and the Sagas album that I showed in the previous video. I would like to pick up some more of their stuff because I do enjoy Equilibrium. I just have not gotten around to doing so. Next up, we have a project out of Texas. This is kind of ritualistic dark ambient, not something that I would generally gravitate myself towards, but I found this quite enjoyable. This is Equimanthorn with Second Sephira Sella. This project has several albums under the belt. They not entirely just dark ambient. There are like some drony elements going on, almost doomy things going on in times in this as well. But very dark, just mood inducing type music. It's something that you can dim the lights. If you're in a mood to just have something very, oppressive playing, that will definitely do the trick. Speaking of oppressive, we have another band out of Germany. This is Eremit with Carrier of Weight. I believe this came out in 2018. I could be off on that, but in my head I'm saying 2018. This is 3 tracks and over an hour worth of music of just sludgy, doomy greatness. I dig this quite a bit. It was released on India's Transcending Obscurity Records, despite not having the shiny foil. It seems like all of their albums now have shiny foil. This must have been before that became their kind of trademark. Next up, we have some hardcore / math rock out of France, and that sounds like something I would absolutely hate, but I dig this release. This is Aaron Nande with Hydra Lerneia. This came to me in one of those bulk Metal Blade Records lots that I've mentioned in almost every one of these videos, it seems like. And I was not expecting to enjoy this one just too terribly much, but I did like it, so it definitely stuck around and is still in the collection. Next up, we have some technical deathcore. This is Eschaton with Sentinel Apocalypse. Despite being technical deathcore, sounding like it might be terrible, this is actually a pretty solid release. I believe this is their debut. I think they have another one that came out after this. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I do dig this one quite a bit. Was released on Unique Leader Records, and I do not see the date on the back there, but pretty decent stuff there. Next up, we have another band called Eschaton, but this one is spelled with ESK instead of ESC. This is death metal out of, I'm wanting to say this band is out of Australia. Very dark, occult death metal. This is their debut album entitled Nihil Goetti. And you could just tell from that artwork, if the glare is going to let you see the artwork there, that this is just very dark themed death metal. It has some very blackened themes, but to me it feels more straightforward death metal, but it does have those maniacal, occult, evil themes going on in it. But it's some nasty stuff. I do dig that one. This is probably my favorite release from this band. It's an album that if you listen to it in its entirety, I was speaking earlier, like oppressive stuff, you can kind of get that mindset from that release. Also have their follow-up to that entitled Worship Death. Yep. And this one, they don't have dates on any of these. This one, 2014. And they have an album that came out, I think, 2018 that I do not have my hands on that I would like to pick up at some point because I do enjoy both of these releases quite a bit. Just very dark stuff. Something you kind of have to be in that mindset to listen to because it can be very taxing on your psyche. Next up, we have some funeral doom slash death metal out of I think this band's out of the UK. This is kind of a low point for me in the collection because this is the only album that I own from them, and I definitely need to rectify that at some point in the near future. This is Esoteric with its Subconscious Dissolution into the Continuum. I love everything that this band has done, and it's sad that this is the only album of theirs that I own because this is probably one of their weaker full lengths, and this is the one that I just happen to own. This is released on Season of Mist Records. I definitely want to get my hands on some more Esoteric material because I do enjoy just about everything that they've been a part of. Next up, we have some brutal death metal, kind of brutal death grind out of Argentina. This is, I'm going to butcher it, Espermoragia with The Human Misery and Decline. This was released in 2017. That artwork is sick. The album itself is sick. It was released on Lord of the Sick Recordings, so very fitting. It is just nasty, brutal death grind, and I absolutely love this release. If you're into brutal death metal, definitely check this one out. Next up, we have Eternal Oblivion with Human Fields. This is thrashy death metal. Go figure. This was released in 2014 by Horror, Pain, Gore, Death Recordings. I'm pretty positive I got this in a HPGD grab bag at some point, but this is a pretty decent little slab of that thrashy death metal, that old school sounding thrashy death metal. So pretty decent stuff there from Eternal Oblivion. Kind of rushing through this one a little bit. I'm a little pressed on time, but just kind of bear with me. Next up, we have another band out of Australia. A heavy dose of Australia in this particular video. We have Eternal Rest with Prophetic. This definitely has some very heavy influence from the band Nile. You got that kind of Mid-Eastern sound going on within their style of death metal here. Good stuff here from Eternal Rest. I do dig them quite a bit. This is their second full length, I believe. The follow-up to this one was a bit of a letdown. I wasn't just super keen on that one, but Prophetic is a phenomenal release. And then their newest release, released on Gorehouse Productions, entitled The Picture of Hatred, is very stellar. I dig this one quite a bit. They don't have as much of the Nile Mid-Eastern influence going on. It's still there, but it's nothing like it was in this album and the follow-up to that, but still very solid stuff. I kind of did some tongue-in-cheek stuff with this particular album in that Gorehouse Productions grab bag video that I did, that kind of parody video, but you guys seem to enjoy that one a little bit. Next up, we have some doomy death metal. This came out in 2020. This is Eternal Rot with Putridarium. Man, this is an amazing release. I love this. I cannot sing the praises of this album enough. Fantastic stuff. 5 tracks. I guess it's more of an EP, but I love it. It's just great doomy death metal, and it just, if you're into that whole wave of old school death metal and doomy death metal that is just super popular right now, and you have not listened to Eternal Rot, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice because it is phenomenal. It's better than probably 90% of the death metal that I hear lately. So, next up, we have some Norwegian. They label themselves melodic black metal. I don't see it. To me, they feel more gothic metal. But anyway, I tend to be wrong on genre tags all the time. Anyway, it's only 4 tracks, so this is definitely an EP. This is Eternal Silence with Between the Unseen. This is not horrible. I mean, it's decent. I love the vocals on this. The female vocals, probably the strongest part of the album as a whole. I got this in a grab bag from Redstream Records at some point along the way, but it's pretty decent. I mean, it's not, as I said, it's not horrible. It's super overproduced, I guess. The production on that, you can tell that it's super like just like overproduced, if that makes any sense. Next up, I believe this band may be from Australia as well. This is Eternal Torment with their demo Descent into Madness. I believe this band only had 2 either demo or EPs that they put out and never put out a full length. Just some nasty death metal, great stuff. It kind of tinkers on that brutal death metal realm, but killer stuff there from Eternal Torment. The disc is trying to fall out of the case, so I'll just hold it in there. This was also released on Lord of the Sick Recordings. So next up, we have melodic death metal, kind of blackened death metal at times. This is Eternium with Repelling a Solar Giant. This is phenomenal. This features Markov from Drown. He's in some other projects as well. This is his take. He's not the only member of the band in this. He was vocals and guitars for this project, but this is kind of his take on mellow death, blackened mellow death. This is actually a pretty strong release. I don't think this band is still going, though, unfortunately. Next up, we have some depressive black metal. Got this out of the Metalhead box. This is Ether with Hymns of Failure. This is a long album, a long, depressing album, but it is depressive black metal. It is a solid listen. It's split up into 2 discs, and it plays for over 80 minutes. But it's just dark, depressive black metal, as I said. But great stuff, atmospheric. With that long of a running time, the atmospheres are definitely prevalent on this one. There we go. I'm struggling with the case a little bit. I know this was through Metalhead Box because Ether is out of Canada, and this was released on Sepulchral Productions. I butchered that label name, as I always do. Every time I get one of those albums out of Metalhead Box, I butcher the label name. So, moving on. This is something that a lot of you would probably hate, but for some reason, somewhere in this weird mind of mine, I dig this. This is kind of a mix. I guess new metalcore is the term that you would use for something like this. This is F's with 3. I got this out of a Season of Mist grab bag, I think, or bulk lot at one point. Didn't have high hopes for it, but I ended up enjoying this. Now, I know it looks like they put the hype sticker and stuff right there on the liner notes, which they did on that particular page of the artwork, but that's only because that is the edited art. It's just this little slide through case that does this. I'll give you a little quick glimpse. Hopefully the video won't get taken down, but there are boobies on the cover. That's why it was taken down. But you know what? We all love boobies, so we're going to look at them. I also have the follow-up to that by S. This one is Anka, I believe is how you pronounce that. And I mean, it's pretty solid stuff. I believe this band is out of France. And it just, some of you I know would hate it. That I can see some of you rolling your eyes at the thought of new metalcore, but I do enjoy it. I don't know, there's something about this band that just kind of reaches out and grabs me, and it's not the boobies. And if you didn't like that, I got something that most of you will dislike. This is Evanescence with Fallen. I got this at I think an antique mall for like 75 cents. I know some of you will probably think I overpaid. And I think I've played this through a couple times, but there are some catchy songs on this. You've heard them all on the radio. It was more just kind of a nostalgia purchase. I am a hoarder, so it'll probably just be here in the collection forever anyway. Next up, we have some Russian Funeral Doom. This is a phenomenal release. I absolutely love this release. It never really got the attention that it deserved, I don't think, because it is phenomenal. This is Everlasting with the March of Time. It's Funeral Doom, has a few little death metal moments going on in this as well. Was released on Solitude Productions back in 2013. It is the only release from Everlasting, which I find very unfortunate because I just love this album so much. I don't even know what sparked me to ever. I don't know how I found this to begin with. This did not come in a grab bag. I know I sought this album out and purchased it individually, but I don't remember how it was that I actually discovered that to fall in love with it the way I did. But however it was, I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that I have it in my possession. Next up, we have a Facedown Records release. This is post metal, kind of mixed with progressive metal. This is Everything in Slow Motion with Laid Low. I don't have a ton of stuff from Facedown Records still in the collection. Facedown was a Christian label, and I'm not knocking anything for their beliefs. It's just that the styles of music on that label aren't really stuff that I follow just too heavily anymore. But that was an album that I did enjoy. I still do enjoy, so it's definitely still warrants a spot on the CD shelf. Next up, we've got some black metal out of Brazil. This is Evil with Pagan Fury. This is a compilation of some of their early materials. I think the recordings on this were recorded, I think, somewhere in the early 90s, like 94 through 96, I'm wanting to say. This was released through Hexenhammer Recordings, and it's just dark, evil black metal. Very raw sounding black metal. It's that sound of black metal that's kind of an acquired taste, I would say, but I do dig this. When I'm in the mood for something like this, it definitely scratches that itch, and it's just some dark evil stuff. Another band out of Brazil, we have Evil Emperor with Curse of the Obscene. This is blackened death metal, and it is released on a ton of labels. There were a lot of eggs in that basket, I would say. I'm not going to go through all those that are highlighted there on the back, but pretty decent. Definitely better than I expected. Looking at that artwork, I was not expecting much at all out of this. I was actually expecting something kind of new metalish or even metalcore-ish, so it was kind of a pleasant surprise when I just got some kind of raucous black and death metal out of that. More black metal. This is this is a three-way split with Evil Wrath, The True Endless, and Grom with Rape Their Souls with Black Metal Wrath. So yeah, that no apologies there on that split. It is hand numbered, which I'll show in just a second. Pretty decent packaging here for a split. Sometimes like splits kind of get the short end of the stick on packaging, and just they don't put much into it. This one was hand numbered number 462 out of 1,000. Obviously, it's been out for many years because they did an edition of 1,000 on a CD, and it came out in 2011. So, it came out at a time where people were still purchasing up CDs, and a print run of 1,000 was warranted. Next up, sadly, this is the only full length that I own from this band, and I definitely need to grab some more of their material because I absolutely love this. This is some Polish atmospheric black metal. This is Evil Feast with their debut Mysteries of the Nocturnal Forest. Absolutely astounding release. Very dark atmospheric black metal. I love some Evil Feast, and I don't know why I don't have more in the collection. It's kind of mad at myself looking at this, knowing that it's the only one of their releases that I own. So definitely have some work to do. It's sad when you have a collection of over 5,000 albums and you're like, I still have work to do. There's still more that I need. It's an addiction, and it's kind of sad. I guess I need a new shelf. And then we have some Stoner Doom. This is Evil Speak with their self-titled demo. I believe this band is out of Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. But this is some pretty decent Stoner Doom. Nothing, reinventing the wheel or groundbreaking, but when you listen to Stoner Doom, you're not looking to reinvent the wheel. You kind of want that meat and potatoes that just satisfies that hunger that you have of listening to Stoner Doom, and Evil Speak definitely does that. And then last but not least, we have Eviscerate with their 2012 demo. It's 4 tracks of death metal, and it's pretty killer stuff. I believe this band is out of California. There's the disc. It's just got the demo artwork on it. For me, this feels like something that Corpse Gristle would pick up and do like their little. They do the little demo series, and they release them in very similar packaging. This is something that I could see Corpse Gristle definitely releasing and throwing in with their purchases and stuff. I got this. I've had this for ages now. I don't remember. It came like as a freebie in an order that I got at some point along the way, but killer stuff there. I would have liked to hear some more. I know they have I think one full length out that I have not heard yet, but the demo itself is pretty solid. I kind of rushed through this one. I apologize, but I definitely have to be somewhere today. But we will be back next Sunday. I'm trying to get some recorded in succession, so I can have them scheduled to upload every Sunday. So I'll see you guys at least next Sunday. I'll try to have some stuff up in between. But that's all I've got for today. Stay classy, and I will see you guys soon. I promise.